Yeshuan.
All right. And how are you guys? I'm Shawn. That's Delaney. You may have seen us in the worldwide I Don't Get the Bible episodes, or the Yeshuan's teachings, or Tuesday night, Heart of the Matter. Worldwide. Thank you for joining us.
Do you want to introduce who you are and what you've done really fast?
Sure, I'm Shawn, and I was LDS for the first 40 years of my life. I asked to be excommunicated from the church when I found out what I thought about it, in addition to wanting to choose it, to go back to it if I found out that it was true. I then entered into a serious study of the scripture and tested all things relative to Mormonism, but also relative to evangelicalism, and have found that both of them are full of holes, truly. God is not full of holes, and Yeshua, his son, is not full of holes. But what men have done with the scripture and with the text and with the faith is full of cheesy Swiss cheese holes.
And Yeshuan's is, you're saying that you're echoing Jeff. I'm going to put something on. No, I can see. Let us know if it's still going on. I'll just fix it. The same thing, we are constantly figuring out how to do technical stuff. Once again, I have a baby on my chest. I'm not sure we're going to be able to make those comments work today again, but I'll paste your comments into the screen so you can see. Based on what you just said, we are part of Yeshuan, which is a platform for dissecting the philosophical approach you've got. And by culture, you can sort of ask us questions based on that. The top person Shawn gotten gray and old at
It's true, the Todd Father.
Yeah. Do we know you personally, Todd Father? Let us.
I like that name.
Okay. We have some questions from several.
But before we go to those, I want to welcome our first guest, Fireside. And she's cleaning. And Eva is the newest member of our family. She already plays a significant role in the Yeshuan movement. And, so prayers for Eva and her parents, and she makes noises. You're welcome.
Thank you. Eva is really happy to be here. Jeff, about half. This is a struggle, guys. About half of what I was coming through. Todd Orley.
Yeah.
That's who.
No kidding. Hey, Todd. Boy, I remember you. You were kind of a legend in politics and speaking and power. So, Todd, thanks for joining us.
Please give me 1 minute.
We're working on some settings. While Delaney's working on that, John Ruskin said, "He is the greatest artist who has embodied in the sum of his works the greatest number of great ideas." And I love that. John Ruskin's an interesting fellow, and I thought that's an interesting quote. We're waiting on the Bible. How about some quotes?
I don't think they're hearing you.
Oh, wow. Hold on, Sheldon. These things happen. patient with us. Oh, I heard something.
Yeah. Can you all hear us now? I'm hoping that you might be able to.
Echo cancellation.
I-
Patient with us. Love when I make recommendations like.
Yeah. Can you all hear us?
I heard something.
I'm hoping that you might be able to. Can you all hear us now? Yeah. Yeah. Can you all hear us now? Can you all hear us now? All right. Sounds like you can hear us a little bit, perhaps quietly. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm not sure what to say here. We're working on it. This is disappointing for me. I apologize, Dad. Sorry.
There's no apology necessary. The technical issues are a constant, especially when we are a two-person show and you're the only one who knows the technology.
Yeah. And, all right. So, all right, we're going to see if this works. I switched to sign language. All right. It says it sounds good. We're going to try it from
You
here.
want sign language?
I really apologize.
I'll give you sign language.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry again. Let's move into questions. Is it possible to be unequally yoked with the Christian faith? This is coming from the Yeshuans AI bot, Shawnee.
I think that was really important to be equally yoked in the day of the apostolic record. And because, in fact, so much so that if they couldn't be, Paul said, just don't even get married, which is a direct contradiction against, the unity of one man to one woman, going all the way back to God's advice to Adam and Eve. But Paul in his day say it's better to be like me. Why could Paul say that? Obviously wasn't to us and the rest of the world. It was to them, and to be equally yoked because they were under a great deal of stress and challenge. The fact of the matter is today, it's better if you can be equally yoked in more things than less. But, sometimes there's a faithful believer who brings a spouse around to the faith. And sometimes it's the reverse, husband to wife, wife to husband. And I just don't think we go by that law anymore. Bottom line, we are all unequally yoked in some way or another anyway. A wife might believe in one thing, the husband another. That's unequally yoked. So I think that's kind of an old formula for that day and age.
All right. Todd, the Todd father says, yes, you will be happy to understand I left the cult about 10 years ago. And by the way, how's your sister Bridget doing?
Hey, she's doing great. I just talked to her yesterday, and she's married with 4 kids. One of them's on a mission now. But yeah, glad you left it, brother. Good job. I always knew you were a smart one.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We addressed last week is communion in all 4 gospels, right? We talked about that.
We talked about it.
Okay. Okay. On a video that you did on addressing that Christ had a God.
Yeah.
Christ had a God. Calling him God the Son diminishes the sacrifice of Christ. There is just a whole smattering of frustration from all the angles about that.
Oh.
A lot of it is that you're mistranslating it, we're mistranslating it.
Oh.
Do you want to just clarify that principle or like that philosophy?
Well, bottom line, it's this. If Jesus, who we say his name's Yeshua, if he was God the Son, which is what the Trinity made him out to be, God the Son, like the Holy Spirit is God the Holy Spirit and the Father is God the Father, then there's a whole
bunch of problems relative to his incarnation, his death. For instance, let's just throw one at you. If he was truly a pre-incarnate person that was God the Son from all eternity, co-equal with the Father and the Spirit, when he died, who died? Was it God the Son? Did God the Son offer up his life so God died? Was God the Son walking around since a baby on earth, and God the Son was literally the same as God the Son in a premortal state? And if that's so, then who died on the cross? And then why did he say, my God, why have you forsaken me? Was he forsaking God the Son? That's just tip of the iceberg questions that come in when men have added their own opinion of who Yeshua was.
Can I ask, like, I don't have a specific comment I can pull from, but the general thing that I think is confused, I want to understand that. To me, this feels logically motivated in a way that's like Greek or Athenian, the way we talk about how you can't understand things logically, but we're like retroactively criticizing it logically. Is there anything there that it's like we have a logic now that they didn't go by back then that we're like retrofitting onto God? Do you get what I'm saying?
I do. I don't know how to answer it. It is logic and there is reason, but we're human and we have to do that.
Yeah.
So
mainly because people's defense of the Trinity is always, we can't understand God, or, they like make it into this, that they make that same argument. You're going by logic.
Yeshua said, this is life eternal, to know him, the only true God, and his Son whom he sent. And he didn't say, and the Holy Spirit, to fit in with the three-person model. So it's just endless. So all we do is try to take the biblical content, put it in piles, and see where is it consistent with each other. And the Trinity is not consistent.
Yeah. One of these specific comments, you are confused, you mistranslate it. Of course, whatever you were citing here in this video. Someone says, I think the Trinity is supposed to be the harder thing to understand, but somehow the Unitarians sound more confusing to themselves, as if you're Unitarian. They cling to John 17:3 every time. Do you want to address that?
I don't see, this is the thing. We are not anti-Trinitarian in the typical sense, because anti-Trinitarians say that Jesus was not God. We aren't saying that.
Because a lot of appeals in these comments, sorry, it's a broad strokes right now, but there's so many comments that I have to use parentheticals, or was paraphrased, sorry. But like, people will combat your comments and be like using similar logic where they're like, word is logos, and that is forever, and that is what is eternal about Christ. Like,
I would agree.
It's like they're not hearing the full argument, I guess.
Right. That's the problem with snippets online.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially with us, because it takes years of talking to get, when we say a final point, people don't know the backstory to the final point.
That's true, which is why social media is not what we should be doing. But for that comment, it trips me up, because I'm like, my response is that they actually don't understand the Trinity. Would you say that?
Absolutely.
Like, that's actually the problem here. Like, and I think that's a huge problem, is that most Christians, I think of the Trinity in the way that you actually think God is made up.
Yeah.
And so then when they fight for the Trinity, they're fighting with your logic,
right,
like for the Trinity, which is saying the opposite. Is that a problem that you see?
Yeah, it's absolutely that way. Bottom line, most people do not understand the Trinity. If they did, then we could have a different conversation.
Okay. over to the Heart of the Matter YouTube, someone said Chris Namelka is such a bad person, which I just want to delete all comments that are blanket statements like that. I don't know who Chris Namelka is though, and this is on a past
That's
episode.
probably a true statement.
Is it?
Yeah,
Well,
he's pretty bad.
Well, what's his deal?
He came forward as a new prophet. He's the mighty and strong.
Wow.
We had him on a show years ago. He
that's
everybody.
Comment. Okay.
Yeah. He is from many reports. I'm not saying that he is, but many reports suggest that he's a very bad person. And the reason I couch it that way is because he sues you. He's got a brother or somebody who's an attorney, and he goes after you. He also has played a big number on women, put them in like some slavery stuff. Pretty diabolical dude.
Horrible. Okay. Hey Shawn, have you heard from that John O'Fallon guy through the years?
No.
Can you summarize? I don't even really know the full John O'Fallon story. Can you give us a synthesis?
Yeah, when we were on television and we were taking live calls, a man called in and he said his name was John, but our screener put John O'Fallon. He was really John from O'Fallon, Chicago.
Okay.
So we called him John O'Fallon. And then he called maybe 3 to 5 times over the course of the show, and he cast me out. He told me that he was going to come and use the power of Smith's whatever. It was comical. And he's the one who, he said, I now, by the power of the priesthood, cast you out. And when I was on the show, I went, is that what's supposed to happen? So he provided a lot of entertainment.
That's
and
funny.
he like said, I'll take you on anytime, buddy. You know, I'm fit. I go to the gym. It was just I actually don't know if he was legitimate. He could have been like a little guy who loves making.
Yeah.
He could have been on our side for all I know.
Yeah. Okay. A common commenter who is usually says some what is the word? Guys, mom brain. Though he's not for us. Is in here and he says, have your minds become renewed since you became a Christian?
My mind is being renewed. My mind is not fully renewed, and my mind will never be fully renewed. I try to walk in the mind of Christ, but the question becomes, where is the mind? It doesn't say renew your brain. So the mind is probably a combination of your might, will, emotion, and it really resides in your heart. So I've certainly had my heart renewed, but my mind, if you put it in with my brain, is still a work in progress.
And a recent teaching you had, R.D. Albright, please follow up on that if you have anything. But a recent teaching that you had revealed your heart to you. I wanted to ask you this.
Yeah.
Because your heart is renewed, but then the whole thing that we think the Bible is saying and that religion opposes is going out into the world and having God show you your heart, which is usually not in a good spot, even though it's been renewed. So what do you think is going on there? Like you learned something about your heart that wasn't renewed.
Yeah. Well, I think that we deceive ourselves as human beings. We're such limited creatures. And you can delude yourself to thinking that you've got it down with God. And I had in some sense. And it wasn't until he showed me that there was a deficit in my heart. By the way, I love the size of that phone, that clock. It's so cool.
The clock on my phone. He likes how big it is.
Artful.
Thanks. Keep going.
Yeah. So, God, this is found in the scripture. He purges you. He cuts you back as a means to bring forth more fruit. I was cut back a week or so ago over a thing where it was revealed to me, firsthand experience, that my heart was still wicked in some ways, especially when tested, when challenged, and when refused by God. And it caused a rebellion in me akin to Cain when he offered sacrifice and it wasn't pleasing to God and he got mad. So I think that, until the fullness of Christ abides in us, and that means is fully operational within us, is when your flesh is dead.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, as long as we're alive, I can be praising Jesus and the right person can cross my line of sight and I can become hateful or lustful or angry. So let's get over the idea that we think that we walk perfectly in this life. Renewed, not permanently.
Okay. Randy in York, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
He's texted before and he said, what's next on the eschatological timeline? That's an interesting question.
I believe in the historicist view that there are repeated cycles that the world goes through.
Is that the historicist? Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, but I don't believe they are tied into Jesus coming back. He's come back. There's no more coming back. Unless you want to think that what we've proposed is we think he came back first in the physical sense for his bride. And we said that on January 6th, he returned in spirit for all believers around the world to rise up in us as a means to fortify us against this world and its craziness. I think that is a historicist cycle of themes. But so that's what's next is Christ more and more improving this world through his victorious reign over it.
That is it. We were just talking about that this morning. Your Sunday school teaching is a really great series you can get on the Yeshuans App or on YouTube. But it explains a lot about the change of the Spirit over, and I encourage everyone to listen to it because it's helping me especially understand how radical that makes things when you think of God as changing across time. And it is possible that Christ works with us in a different way in the future than he does right now. And
I mean, we'd be fools to think otherwise, so
it's scary because religion has done so much to oppose that. But Derek said, how about the Nordic Viking? Remember the Derek Webster, the Nordic, I said, you definitely have the stories we need to hear one. He said, Shawn should know the guy that used to threaten him when the show was based at Redwood Road. He said he was the big bad Viking. Do you remember this guy?
I don't. I had several people who threatened me. One was a big Samoan.
Ooh.
I had several who threatened, but none of them ever did anything.
Yeah, people are.
I don't remember the big bad Viking. I remember the guy who said having a cow skull was offering idolatry to a pagan Egyptian god. Lots of things like that.
My gosh. Someone just commented, I don't have it pulled up right now, but over on social media, which is going to be changing, FYI, we're going to be changing how we're doing that because we don't like what's going on. But they commented and said, Shawn, like, you helped me convert back in the day. Like, it's wild to see just how the world has changed, and everything you were saying on TV is everyone has access to now. Like, they just really made it clear in the comment that you were doing work at a specific time that, people think they're doing now. Like, I don't know, it just broke something open.
I'm grateful for that. I had someone really close to me who's LDS tell me that everything we talk about and have talked about, the LDS in a great deal has embraced. So 20 years ago, we're talking about, they don't talk about Jesus. Now that's all they do. And that we have had an influence on them. And I just want you to consider this. What we are talking about now will have an influence on Christianity in 20 years.
Yeah.
And in a major way, we're seeing more and more people come to the reality of fulfillment.
Yeah. Everyone is grasping at straws for some way forward with their faith. And Yeshuans, I think, is coming at the world from that reality that every single person has their own little way of doing it. And what are we going to do about that?
Welcome, little one.
Welcome, Ava.
You just poked your head up to say hello. I just got from Billy out in New York. He sent me a clip of a guy, I think he's Ugandan, who wrote a book called The Church Is Hidden, That Christ Is Returned. And people who are reading and seeking it, they see it and it liberates you.
Can I ask you my own question?
Of course.
Because we're a little slow on questions today. You can see on the screen, call 220-222-4686. Hopefully we get it because our tech is ridiculous. But I found an Instagram today and I really wanted to ask you about it. It's a person called Latter Day Struggles. They have a podcast. They are active LDS, but their work specifically talks about 4 stages of faith and faith development, and that they're addressing that their own church, the LDS church, is stuck in stage 2, and that's the problem of it. So the stages are chaotic, antisocial, like a baby. So it's self-interested, self-survival. These are faith stages. The second is formal, institutional, conformist, rule-based, dogmatic. This is where many get stuck, and that she's saying the LDS church is here. Stage 3 is a skeptic individual, falling away but progress. Stage 4, communal, mystic, embracing mystery, non-tribal unity, deep compassion, the goal of mature faith. I think in so many words it's saying what we're trying to say, and whatever. But of course it goes toward like community, which I think we're different. Anyway, that being said, she's criticizing the church itself as being stuck in a phase, and I'm curious how you would address that. Like, I personally think it's not stuck. It's based in stage 2, and it will never get out of that. But we're kind of calling for the church to progress into the different states. So do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that there's something to what she says. I think that we've talked here about it being reflected in architecture, how she's saying the last phase is this shamanistic kind of, but the phases of religion start with a shaman. It's kind of mystical and open.
Like they regret.
And that the second phase was the order and the structure. The third was the clerical, when they became institutionalized.
So as an institution, it goes backward.
Kind of,
It starts communal and as an institution, it starts right. And then it gets more
and more structured with laws, rules. They get bigger, so they have to stop caring for the individual. The corporation becomes the key. I think they're stuck in the managerial age right now. I think that's after the clerical managerial age is like, this is how we do it, and they lose when they change from that. And so I think that's what they're facing. We don't want to lose more. How do we keep the managerial and the clerical in place while appearing to be more open? And they're inconsistent with each other.
That's true. They're struggling with that. Okay. Andrea Crouch, our good friend.
How's she doing?
She's good. She commented on our last fireside and she said, I understand philosophy, quote unquote, like the word that we're using might feel awkward and perhaps vague, but it's a likely perfect fit here. Biblical realities are what I've learned from McCraney for 15 years. Concrete stuff. Congrats.
Thanks, Andrea.
Yeah. And it's a biblical philosophy. I think that's a really important adjective to use when you're talking about us and your work.
Right. It has to, when it comes to describing me, it has to say that.
Jeff Dace just donated $12 in the chat. You're the only one that's ever done that for us, and it's so nice.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. It will go a long way. Delaney, has your architecture study and work given unique perspectives that you find useful or relatable to your faith life? Vitruvius spoke of utility, convenience, beauty, and strength in structures. 100%. I think that's why we are calling me the metaphysical architect, because I'm trying to since I was in grad school, so since 2020, I've been trying to work on a certain specific thought. And it's really related to the faith. And in school, it's not as in line of what like Vitruvius was doing, but the contemporary thought process going on with architects is more about what material is, and especially in the age of like the digital. So like thinking of an image as material or things like that, because architects are kind of drowning and figuring out who they are, as most professions are. So that I was really in that camp of thought of people who were working on they were mostly talking about digital versus physical, but at the core of it was what is material. And I think that's what you've been doing. And I actually think the work at Yeshuans is working on like something like a subjective materialism. It's not even subjective faith. It is for us in the context of Christ, but out in a broader, more philosophical sense, it's subjective materialism, where people in the face of 2026 with all the technology and everything, what we're doing now is deciding how we relate material to truth. Each person's doing that in their religion, each person's doing that with their politics, whatever. And everyone has their own. There are 8 billion definitions for material, so I think there's something related. I don't know if that answers your question, Jeff, but in terms of theory, I think it's very architectural. I also think what I do for you is architectural. Now that material is not necessarily a brick or a stick of wood, but it's like a concept that's as material as a physical block of concrete today for us. And so the materials of what Shawn has produced in his life are like there for the taking to build something for me. That's how I kind of see my work as architectural. I'm wondering if that makes sense to a normal person or if it's way too out there.
It makes sense to me more because I've learned, but I got to tell you guys, I always thought, because I read the Fountainhead, that architecture was all about, learning how to draw schematic maps on how to build a building or a house. But the fact of the matter is, while Delaney was in architectural school, and then I went and visited her several times, and then we've had hundreds of conversations. What they really operate on are forms of thought. They are, in fact, they graduate from architecture school. They probably, none of them can probably like draw a blueprint.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing, the practice architecture, like just fun fact for this, the education is not responsible to teach you anything. Like you are the practice. Once you get into an office and start working, that's when you're supposed to like gain expertise, like a doctor does in residency. So school takes like explicitly does not take the responsibility to teach you anything normal or like useful. And people really get pissed off about it because they go to school and pay all this money and they're like, I don't know how to do anything.
But for Delaney,
I loved
think
it.
It was of immense value because she has taken concepts for me and we've worked through them and they've improved the quality of what we do. And I mean, I don't think there's any better training, even in law. I think it's better to get a degree in architecture, a master's in that than law.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's an education, if you want it to be, that teaches you how to like think, kind of. Yeah, I think that's what it did for me.
Her experience, I don't know if it's this way around the world, was highly politicized.
Yeah, I mean, in 2026 or in 2020, it is. And I think schools just are just politicized what they're teaching.
All right.
It was difficult. Okay, thanks for that question, Jeff. Someone said on you calling out Joseph Smith with tithing, Joseph Smith in the Church of Tithing said, you can come back. It's between you and God whether you're a tithe payer. We have quite a few comments like that where it's like, just come to church and don't pay your tithings. What's the big deal? That's another one of those things where like people making what they want out of it. But someone just went off about that sentiment.
Well, so this is in the context of us going back and me saying, I want to join the church. And what the first question was, will you pay tithe? And I said, no. Well, if you want to go back and play a religious game, then go ahead and say whatever and join the church or be part of it and just don't do it. That's not the point. The point is that if I'm going to be honest and have integrity, I have to be honest in what I would say. And when I was honest, they said, you can't join. So your response, whoever you are, is missing the point.
Thank you for that. Linda Kreutzer, who's commented quite a bit. Do you remember her?
I remember that name, but something is telling me be afraid.
Yeah, she just is opinionated. I don't know if she's for or against, but she comments a lot. She said, probably from the Reformed theology thingy churches, I am witnessing that people, including the youth, are returning to classical, traditional Protestant and Catholic churches, which is very true. Yeah. There's a huge swing back. She says, I think that people are fed up with the me, woke liberalism and weak theology.
Yeah.
The hard part is that we are heavily put in that camp.
Yeah.
And that is not what we're saying at all.
No.
So another thing where we're really getting misunderstood, but how would you clarify?
I would say there's a difference between a denominationally backed theology and the truth. And so, what the masses do is when things become uncertain, they run to the place of safety. So they're running to what's easy, dogma. And so they say, this is going to give us our solution.
Yeah.
But that dogma, especially from the Catholic Church, come on, man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No one acknowledges. Yeah. That's why we can't do social media, because we're not even like Protestant or something. Like, people associate us with like people that are just going Jesus and like this, like it's so weird. But this is an actual deeply articulated theological.
And the thing about what we present is it's great to have the Jesus experience. Fine, dandy. It comes in many different ways, but are you growing and maturing in your faith, in your love? That's it. And that is beyond theological. That is training people how to do it, why to do it, and why it's important.
Okay. You're doing good. Did you have any questions?
Nope, doing good.
Okay. So same from Randy from York on the eschatological timeline. Phases of religion are like the hands going around on a Salvador Dali clock. How do you balance being led by the Spirit of Christ and wanting to go by the Bible? What even is the Bible good for?
Yeah, it's good to show us what God did through people and nation and his Son and the Spirit, and that's what it's good for. And then you can look at principles derived from that and decide how to live your life. So that's what it's good for. How do I determine how to live in the face of all that information? It's really simple. If what I am believing and what I am teaching and what I am walking by leads to agape love, selfless, sacrificial, unconditional love for others, mercy for others, that means when they least expect it, a heart for the poor, a heart for those who are less blessed than I am, then I think my interpretation of that biblical passage is probably closer to the truth than not.
Okay. A discussion clip. I mean, a lot of our comments come from clips, so it's hard, but, on one where titled religion, especially the LDS hate when you become difficult, is just something you and I were talking about on an epiphany. Few comments, real talk. You all miss what Jesus said when he was saying, if you can't accept that this is the way to live and orient your life, then you will perish eternally. Someone else said you must like the watered down non-Bible teaching churches of today. Of course, how do you expect to be a supported by an institution when you want to bring in your own values? It's not a democracy where everybody is to tell what the particular religion principles should be.
That's the problem with it, because it really is a democracy when you look at what every individual chooses to believe anyway.
Okay.
So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying they have to embrace my views, but they won't let me exist with my views if I make them public.
That's the thing. By the way, on the You Must Like the Watered Down teachings, someone did say it's not like he teaches the Bible verse by verse or anything like that.
Was that a joke?
No, like someone defending you. Like, are you freaking joking? Like you water down the Bible,
right?
Like, geez Louise.
That's the problem with this form. It just is. It's really for monkeys. I'm sorry if you're on social media, but it's really just for our entertainment.
Yeah. What it does for me at this point is give me a sense of what is going on in the world.
Yeah.
When you see your earnest, really simple video get put up of just a really basic, like hard to argue concept, and everyone is really angry about it. And this is that video, and those responses in particular voice the spirit of the frustration with like Protestants or with us, which is that Christ did one thing. He didn't do something different for all of us.
Oh, I see.
He did one thing. What is that thing? We need to figure out that one thing and all do it the same.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's what they think. And
being
like you're saying, there's a different way to be a Christian for each of us.
Yeah. And the reason what we back that up by is that you want theology, you want the Bible. Yeshua did not come, the mortal Messiah did not come to you or me today or to a non-Jew. He just didn't. So why you read his words then in and try to follow his life as the mortal Messiah in that day and age is not the call. The call is to walk by him in spirit and truth through the power of his spirit, which he gave at Pentecost and left the church in charge of. So right there, we have a huge problem with people thinking you got to follow Jesus. What was the one thing? The one thing was him to take care of everything through the nation. And what he taught doesn't really have direct application to you.
And what the apostles didn't have application to that. Like, it's not like the rest of the Bible does. That's a big problem too.
Right. Even Paul doesn't, because he was to the Gentiles of that age.
Yes, right.
To prepare them to join the bride as prophesied for the great and dreadful day. Yeah. So it's a very, we know what we are saying is tough, but the problem with the response you get from social media, it's like this. If we posted a video that said, I just want you to know I love Jesus. That's all it says. Someone would write, yeah, but do you follow him? How do you follow him though? And someone would write, yeah, but does he love you? Look at this world. And there would be 300 comments just on making that. So this thing, it's like the Epstein thing. You know what it's doing? It's keeping us all off track of what we should be doing.
Yeah, it is.
Spinning us out of control with diversions.
So we're getting off of it, right?
Yeah.
All right, good. Someone is calling.
Awesome.
Great. We love the calls. All right. You're on live.
You're on live.
Hey guys, how's it?
Hey, who is this?
Turn this off. Hello?
Hello.
You hear me?
Yes.
Hey.
Hi.
It's me. It's Lindsay from Hawaii.
Oh, it's Lindsay.
Hey, what's going on, Lindsay?
Aloha, guys.
Aloha.
Aloha, our Hawaiian brother.
Am I coming through okay?
Yeah,
You
you
coming
hear.
through all
We
right?
hear ya.
Yeah, awesome. I just want to thank you for all you do again, but also thank you, Papa Bear, for our brother Bear, for sharing your most intimate stories with us.
Oh, Oh, last week?
Yeah, that sounds like the worst stories you got are almost the best revelations to all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lindsay. How are you, brother?
I'm good, brother. Every day is a blessing.
How's your mom and dad?
They're both so blessed. Yahweh has been so good to us these years, and we now live on the east side of the Big Island.
Oh.
And Dad has now signed up with the VA.
Uh-huh.
And the VA basically takes care of us now. We're so blessed over here. We actually live up Paradise Drive. And you turn right on Avopui, which is Ginger Street. So we're very much in the middle of paradise.
Wow, that's beautiful. And I saw you.
How you guys been?
We're doing good. I saw you sent I haven't watched it yet of you singing with your son or your brother.
The last one I sent you was my brother and sister doing sign language.
Oh, okay. I haven't looked at that yet, Lindsay.
It's all right. It's all right, brother. That's all right. I just want to thank you for sharing your most intimate stories with all of us.
Wow.
So wonderful to see your light shine. I'm so happy that you were wrong about your departure date.
Yeah. Well,
I'm glad you're here with all of us.
Thanks, Lindsay. That's a good brother.
This is my 7th day with you. This is my 7th day with you guys.
Uh-oh. Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. We I think we cut you off for a second.
Oh, wait. Lindsay, are you there?
No, this is not Lindsay. It's a guy.
Oh.
No, Lindsay's a guy too.
Sorry, we were on the other line. I think I cut Lindsay off, but who's this?
Hey guys, it's Curtis Undaunted. What's up?
Oh,
Curtis
hey.
Undaunted. How you doing? We haven't seen you in a while.
Oh man, I'm feeling. I already, as you guys know, I have a traumatic brain injury from excessive concussions, and I fell last week and hit myself again. So I'm trying to recover slowly.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Hang in there, brother.
Oh, it's all good. Hey, it's been a minute, and I'm thinking a little clearer, and I like today's subject, so I thought I'd just call and say, hey, what's up?
Awesome.
Well, glad you did, man.
Hey, so just want to continue to talk where we were last time. I find it fascinating, again, what you've come and found or developed or whatever you want to call it with proper terms with, and I want to make sure I'm saying it right, Yeshuans?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that how you're saying it?
That's how we say it, but you could say Yeshuan, whatever way you want.
Well, I never heard of this, Shawn, honestly, until you, and I've been investigating on my own for a good year, and I got to tell you, I studied some Buddhism for a minute, and some other philosophies, just trying to figure some stuff out, and I don't know, but what you come up with has really given me some peace. It's been a rough 10 years for me.
Yeah.
But the last couple of years, things have come together.
Praise
and
God.
It's, to me, so great to know that the Bible was written for older times, back Old Testament, as you're saying just a second ago, more Jews.
Yep.
And today we would call me a gent. Definitely 2,000 years later, that was not written for me. It's nice to think that Jesus already came past tense.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of people that say there's no God today. Look at the world. Look at the politics. Social media. We are bipolar as ever. And I liked what you just said about the last time. It is all a distraction, in my opinion, that Jesus did come. Past tense, he came. And now we just have to wake up, be nice to each other, play nice, follow the 2 commandments, love the Lord thy God, like unto it. The second, love thy neighbor, period. Be nice, play nice, die, do whatever.
That's right.
I just like it because it's simplified. Yeah. And I get what you're saying because I've followed you since at least 06, 08. And it makes sense to me. And I just wonder, will there be more people who are open to it? And either way, does it matter? And I wanted to ask your take on that. Since I did serve a mission, you served a mission, we were both seminary teachers in the past. What could we say proselytizing-wise with Yeshuan basically, is that something you should preach? What's Jesus' stance today on proclaiming the gospel and whether it's successful or not? Do we just do the best we can? Then he's in charge? Would you guys comment on that?
Yeah, brother. What I would say is that the Spirit is in charge and has been for 2,000 years. If we are asked as Yeshuans what we have hope in and believe, we would share what we have. But we would say, but you can go as you want, because Christ has taken care of all of it. There is no proselytizing mission, but there is an attempt to share the truth to help educate people so they can be liberated like you and I have been, and Delaney, Curtis.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the short answer. I like how you just, as they say, keep it simple. I really think I've enjoyed watching you, getting to know you from afar, because I think it's a full circle journey. I, at this point, absolutely believe that Jesus is the Lord. I'm saved by grace. All is well. So I could even be a Buddhist right now.
Amen.
I could even go back to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day
Amen.
Saints.
Amen.
It's all good and bad. This world feels like both heaven and hell. It just depends on our dimensions.
Yep, you're right. Now we agree with you, Curtis.
Well, thanks for taking my call, guys.
Thank you, brother. You wrap it up.
All right.
Let me hold her.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Curtis. Bye.
I want to hold her on the first show. Hello.
Jeff says the baby's microphone is exactly at the right level. This is the best Bjorn, which is what we call him, best grandpa.
Bjorn.
Last question of the day. Have you seen the movie Wild Robot? And can you recommend some of the Spirit of Christ movies that people don't consider Christian? That is his forte.
You know what? I'll give you one right now, just off the top of my head. It's an older movie, and I think it is just absolutely beautiful. And I just found out that it's Slavoj Zizek's one of his favorite movies.
Oh.
And it's called The Ice Storm.
Oh, wow.
It's by Ang Lee, and it is not Christian by any means. In fact, it covers some subjects that are really quite graphic. But overall, you ought to take a look at The Ice Storm. And you should take a look at New Bottles.
Thank you all for really a lot of patience with us.
This is what it's all about.
That's all. And we'll see you next week with better tech, we hope.
Love you guys.
Love you guys so much.
What's wrong? You got bad